Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Very significant event is happening today. Uranus is entering sidereal Taurus. He will stay in Taurus 7 years. He stayed during the last 7 years in Aries, and you know how this presence of Uranus in Aries influenced your horoscopes. I made several videos, 2 videos I think, about Uranus, about him in Taurus. I gave you some interesting, I think, mythological stories. I will speak more about Uranus now. And in addition, I will be looking at the 12 ascendants, how Uranus will leave the 12 will influence the 12 ascendants. Of course, Uranus has very special vibration, and how exactly he will influence you, your horoscope, depends really on your vibration, depends on your spirituality if you want, because he and the other trans-Saturnian planets are very much in a different way related to spirituality. So I hope to give you now also some interesting information on Uranus, some thoughts on the master being Saturn on Uranus, and of course I will make separate video only on the conjunction of Uranus with Algol, the star Algol, which has so controversial energy, and this requires special attention because Algol, you know, this is the story of the mythological story of Medusa Gorgona. From the very moment of the entrance of Uranus into Taurus, he will be exchanging energies with Algol. But for this, I will make a separate video. My next video will be immediately on this conjunction. I will explain to you also how long this conjunction will influence us. But now let me give you some interesting general data on the symbolism of Uranus, and we also will be looking at the 12 ascendants, of course, quite generally, because Uranus is a very special planet, and his vibrations would influence each one of us differently. So first of all, before I continue to tell you, Uranus, according to his placement on the celestial spheres, is very high. You know, you have Saturn, and then we have the 3 trans-Saturnian planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. They are 3 trans-Saturnian planets. All 3 are beyond Saturn. They belong to their very special, very spiritual, very significant, high vibrational group. And the higher one planet is, the higher the hierarchy, the higher the significance of the planet is. So this is just to give you an indication of the importance, significance of Uranus. And I will remind to you, take a look at this video so that I don't repeat myself, not to be boring. I remind to you the story, you know, of God Anu, who is ruling the cosmos. This is the high vibration divinity, deity of major importance. And he is married with Ki, which is the earth. So Uranus cannot be without the earth. There is very special connection. As the same is valid for the mythological story of Uranus, who is also connected with Gaia, the earth. This is the Roman story, the Roman myth. So what I found very interesting is when Uranus was discovered by Herschel, at the same moment we had the American and the French Revolution. This was in 1781. When this happened, automatically this energy, the revolutionary energy, was denoted to Uranus. That is why Uranus is the Lord of Change. This is one of the reasons. Then Uranus also means break through the tradition, the Saturnian tradition, break through the tradition. Uranus, astronomically speaking, is the only planet, not only because Venus does that too, who has opposite rotation from the rotation of the other planets. So if the other planets rotate, I think it was west to east, Uranus is rotating totally differently, east to west. It's like he's telling us symbolically, I am new, I am against the rules, I am against every tradition, I am revolutionary, you see. Well, yes, here comes, of course, the rotation of Venus, which is also east to west, you know. Also, he's so tilted, which also says that he's totally against every the traditional motion of the planets. Now, also he's very cold, the coldest, and he's extremely windy. See, stormy, windy, he comes, we experience his presence straight away. Even if you think for a moment, you will notice that you already know what he's giving, what will be the change that he will bring into your lives. This is because he's like the wind, he's a storm. He comes and he brings the change. And like I told you, his rotation is, I think, the angle of his rotation is 90 degrees, which makes him different from any other planet, and he is different. So he's all about revolutionary principle. He's breaking the slavery. Also, he is against dogma. Every dogma, be it religious, be it any traditional dogma, Uranus is coming to break the dogma. So, also what is very important, I will bring you back a little bit to this myth, to the myth. He, you know, he is, yeah, this would be the Greek mythological story. So when he married Gaia, Earth, you know, Gaia, the Earth, the Titans were their children. One of them was Saturn, and he was castrated by Saturn. What is this symbolically meaning? On one hand, it is about the conflict between the tradition, which is the rules, the tradition, the fundaments, if you want, which are represented by Saturn, and Uranus is the new. When he was castrated by Saturn, actually, this is you can imagine that with this Saturn, he has no attachments. He is not representing any attachments. His view is always towards the future. That's why people who have this idealistic vision, always futuristic towards the future, would be represented by Uranus. No attachments. He is not romantic. You can never see a long-lasting love relationship started with aspect made by Uranus. This is because he is castrated. Symbolically, he is not exhibiting any attachments. Uranus and Saturn, this is always the conflict between the new and the traditional values. Now, Uranus also, like I previously told you, is the high vibration of Mercury, of Hermes. That's why he is also related to the thought process. So when Uranus is badly positioned, this has affliction, bad impact on the thoughts of the people. The same is valid for Venus and Neptune. You know, Venus, like I told you in the previous video, is about the love on material, on our material plane. And when we look at Mars and Pluto, again, Mars, Pluto is the higher vibration of Mars. Also, there is one interesting theory which is called Kant-Laplacian nebular theory, which says that the three trans-Saturnian planets originate from the sun, but they do not belong to the sun anymore. So they actually do not belong to our three-dimensional nature. You see, they do not belong to our three-dimensional nature. They actually illustrate the transition from the third to the fourth dimension. From there, all these misunderstandings, lack of deep understanding about the three trans-Saturnian planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, because they belong to the fourth dimension. See, this is very interesting. So, it is also believed that only people who are on a very high evolutionary level will understand and will benefit from the beautiful Uranian vibrations, energies, because of this fact that Uranus is all about the future. So that's why people who have influence of Uranus on their horoscopes would be considered crazy, eccentric, impulsive, strange, and so on, you know. And this is because of this lack of understanding. They will be impulsive, they will themselves represent the change. They will be chaotic. In his low vibrations, Uranus can be indeed chaotic. When it is about Neptune, yes, he would be about mysticism and the future art, and Uranus may be related to chaos in general. But if the person is really very highly spiritual, if he would really love and embrace change, embrace originality, innovativeness, then actually he can benefit and really benefit from these very high impulses of Uranus. Uranus is ruling people who are, yes, astrologers, people who are pilots, people who are, you know, flying in the sky, pilots. You will always see in the horoscopes of pilots or astrologers very well positioned Uranus, people who are very intuitive, very would love to research or to experience nature, because you see, the sky is married to Earth, Uranus is married with Gaia, God Anu is married with Ki. It is the connection between earth and the sky. So this is why such people will always be very, very much in love with the nature. So this is really the higher octave of Mercury. If you imagine Mercury would be about the mental, about the great speech, I'm speaking about very well positioned Mercury, of course. Then imagine the higher octave of this. What would the higher octave of Mercury will be? This will be inspirational speakers, people with very lofty ideals, people with imagination. So this is one of the things. Then like I told you, when Uranus is badly placed, because he's about the higher octave of the thought processes, the thought process will be heavily afflicted when he's badly positioned in the horoscope. He's all about the new, advanced technologies, advancement in anything. So he needs 84 years to go around the earth, and when he makes a square to the natal position in the horoscope, when we are 21, he makes so when we are 42, he makes opposition to the natal Uranus in your horoscope. When we are 63, he makes another square, and then he comes in his natal position when we are 84. So these are the four major important aspects in the horoscope of Uranus when we're 21, when we're 42, when we are 63 and 84. So these four positions of Uranus are very important, and they would be related either to difficulties or to great spiritual awakening. Of course, in general, he is called malefic planet. Like Saturn, like Mars, he is called malefic planet. But like I told you, this is not necessarily so. It depends on your vibration, because like we see, here's this transition from the he and the other trans-Saturnian planets illustrate the transition between the third and the fourth dimension for us. Therefore, the misunderstandings, misconceptions are too many. So, saying this small introduction, and with the promise that I will explain to you also about the conjunction between Uranus and the fixed star Algol, which is in the first, second degree of the sidereal Taurus, I'm continuing now with 12 ascendants, of course, with the small disclaimer that yes, I will tell you which areas of your life Uranus will mostly influence while he will be in Taurus for the next 7 years. But of course, please remember, the more spiritual we are, the higher we vibrate, the best energies of Uranus we will experience because of his nature. I will remind to you, in 1781, when you had these two revolutions, the American and the French revolutions, Uranus was discovered, and he was automatically related to great changes, to great revolutions, to breaking rules, to break slavery, to innovation. So how exactly, where we fit into this would depend very much on our vibrations. So let's see now the 12 ascendants. Like I usually do, I look at them from the two perspectives, sidereal and tropical. So let's start. So if you have sidereal ascendant Aries or moon in Aries, or for the tropical astrology, this will be Taurus or moon in Taurus, then Uranus is entering your second house. The great changes for you will be financial. He will be quite drastically changing also the financial system of the world. You will see how this process unfortunately will intensify. So Uranus will bring you many financial changes or changes related to family roots, communication, some connections with them. He may also influence the finances of your partner or finances via partnerships. This will be quite intense. Also because during the whole 2025, from now to 2025, Saturn is also squaring from your 11th house, so this process will be really intense. How exactly this will be seen, it will be, we will know only from your horoscope, how Uranus is positioned in your own natal chart. If I forgot to mention this, if you I'm making special readings now related to the passage of Uranus into Taurus, and you can see them on my website under this video. Now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Taurus or moon in Taurus, or if you're following modern tropical astrology, this is Gemini. For you, this is very important because Uranus is coming right on your ascendant and he will stay there 7 years. 7 years of change. 7 years of change in your thoughts, choices, connections, career choices, occupation choices, everything. You may need to be a little bit more diplomatic with your partnerships in general, because Uranus will make opposition to the seventh house. But you experience important changes and most probably career changes too. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Gemini or moon in Gemini, or if you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Cancer. Now for you, Uranus is entering your 12th house. 12th house is important for this is your secret place. This is about your, this is about your temple. This is the house when we take care of the others, of sick, poor, where we're paying some karma, related to health. So you may need to be a little bit more responsible with your health, and you may need to be more, most probably you will become more interested in health, to educate yourself related to health. Uranus will bring great changes related to your awakening, to your choices of spiritual science, let's say. You may opt for another country, but again, depends where your original Uranus departs from. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Cancer or moon in Cancer, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this would be Leo. For you, Uranus is entering your 11th house. 11th house in astrology is the house of the good spirit. This is benevolent house, related to gains, children. This is the house related to your plans, hopes. Very important and still benevolent house. So I don't think that Uranus will be so afflicting for you. Of course, depends on your personal chart, but Uranus may bring great changes related to your social circle, friendships, relationship with your children. He may have impact on your career and gains, money. But because he's entering benevolent house, I think that you have good 7 years with Saturn. Now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Leo or moon in Leo, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this would be Virgo. Now for you, Uranus is entering Taurus. This is your 10th house, related to your career, highest goals, rank. Also, Uranus will be squaring your ascendant, so you will be kind of pushed to choose either career, or you will be going through some modifications in your career place, or you feel the need to opt for something else, to have career changes, to choose other occupation. And so you may be a little bit more diplomatic in your romantic love, because there will be Saturn Uranus square until end of 2025. But in general, you will see the need to make different choices, maybe choose another occupation. You experience very important changes, especially if midheaven is passing through the same 10th house where Uranus will be staying for the next 7 years. And now we look at people who have sidereal ascendant Virgo or moon in Virgo, or if you're following modern tropical astrology, this would be Libra. For you, Uranus is entering the 9th house. This is the house of the guru, house very philosophical, spiritual, good placement in general. Uranus may influence your study processes, choice of study, choice of universities, classes, philosophies. You may opt for totally different study, knowledge. This would be very, very interesting. I think benevolent. You may choose to travel. You may choose to study. He's trying in your ascendant in a very benevolent way. You may choose a totally different page to open in relation to philosophy, study, knowledge, travel, spiritual journeys, spiritual travels, and so on. You may suddenly decide to do some media work in a different way, or you can opt for totally different way of communication and so. And now we look at people who have Sidereal Ascendant Libra or Moon in Libra, or if you follow in modern tropical astrology, this would be Scorpio. Now for Libra people, Uranus is entering your 8th house. Now he can open your eyes to, the truth, secret knowledge. He may bring changes in the finances of your partner, or changes money that you generate via partnerships. You can suddenly have resolution in, let's say, some finances from unexpected sources and matters. So Saturn may, you need really to vibrate very high, to be very brave, because Saturn can awake some fears, let's say. So you have to be very, very well cautious with this energy, very brave, because he also can be very brave and revolutionary and give you amazing information, knowledge, financial benefits, if you really manage to understand properly his otherwise very beautiful energies. Now we look at people who have Sidereal Ascendant Scorpio or Moon in Scorpio, or if you follow in modern tropical astrology, this is Sagittarius. Now for you, Uranus is entering your 7th house, house of partnerships. Be a little bit careful, diplomatic, because he may test your romantic life. Partnerships to from both natures, romantic and business partnerships. He may test you, especially in the beginning of his passage into Taurus. So this is one thing. He may bring you new businesses, also relocations because of the aspect of Saturn. So be diplomatic and careful in your romantic life. This is most important. Now we look at people who have Sidereal Ascendant Sagittarius or Moon in Sagittarius, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this would be Capricorn. Now for you, Uranus is entering your 6th house. Now he may totally change your routine. He may change your occupation, work, career very much. He may change your attitude towards health in general. He may open your eyes towards health methods which you didn't know about, for example, but he will certainly change your routine, and in the meantime you may need to be responsible for your health while he will be traveling through your 6th house for the next 7 years. And now we look at people who have Sidereal Ascendant Capricorn or Moon in Capricorn, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this would be Aquarius. Now for you, Saturn, I keep saying Saturn, Uranus is entering already your 5th house. This is the house of the good fortune. This is good for you. He may bring positive changes, hopefully on your chart, of course, related to finances, creative knowledge. You may benefit greatly from the Uranus's presence into your 5th house. He may be your muse to choose art, different art, innovative. He may open your eyes to opt for creative studies, creative knowledge. He can be very benevolent and lucky financially. So make sure that you really get the most positive vibrations from Uranus. And now we look at people who have Sidereal Ascendant Aquarius or Moon in Aquarius, or if you're following modern tropical astrology, this is Pisces. For you, Uranus is entering your 4th house. He may influence your house, home situation, relocations. Make sure that you're a little bit more attentive to parents. But in general, he may bring you relocations. You may opt for rearranging your home in a very innovative way. Make sure that you're more diplomatic and careful with your partner and with partnerships in general, and also career-wise, remain diplomatic and careful. And now we look at people who have sidereal sun in Pisces or moon in Pisces, or if you're following the modern tropical astrology, this would be Aries. For you, Uranus is entering your third house. He may influence your communication. You may opt for lots of travel, or you may opt for different means of communication, study, knowledge. So all this will be influenced. He may trigger your communication with brothers and sisters so that you can solve ongoing matters, issues, if there are some. But in general, the third house doesn't have such a bad nature, so I don't think that you will suffer from the presence of Uranus in your third house. He will surely bring to you great awakening, knowledge, maybe new studies, and so. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was briefly about the 12 ascendants. Much more we cannot say because you heard my introduction. Uranus is very special, and he's very special in each and every horoscope, and we need to tackle this really individually. So all the best, and my next video indeed will be about Uranus and Algol conjunction. Thank you, and your comments are welcome. Bye bye.